welcome back to the Socially Distant Lawyer presented by Callahan and Fusco. I'm Mitch Hayes.
And I'm Greg Vinogradsky.
And on today's episode, we're going to continue our conversation on business interruption and how the claims have been affected in the legal industry. For more content in our prior episodes, follow us on our YouTube channel.
That's right. Today we have Jesse Lubin from our firm, who recently wrote an article regarding business interruption, possible legislation that's been proposed, and its impact on the insurance industry.
Hey, Jesse, welcome to Socially Distant Lawyer. Greg and I have some questions for you. We know that you recently wrote an article on business interruption and the effect that of a proposed bill that's pending in the New Jersey legislature. So we want to ask some questions about that. So hopefully our audience and as well as us can be more educated. So the first question I have for you is, what is that proposed bill that was pending in the New Jersey legislature that you wrote about?
Sure. Thanks for having me on, Mitch. As you guys have discussed, business interruption does not generally cover losses that were not caused by physical damage. Further, pandemics are often specifically excluded under insurance policies. So the New Jersey Assembly recently introduced a bill that would provide coverage for business interruption back to March 19th, 2020, which was when Governor Murphy declared a state of emergency. The proposed bill would provide coverage for businesses of less than 100 employees that have sustained closure or other types of losses due to the pandemic.
That sounds like pretty sweeping legislation for New Jersey. Are any other states considering something similar, and is the federal government maybe thinking of passing a law like this?
I'll start with the federal government. It doesn't appear that the federal government has proposed anything at this time, and it looks like insurance regulators from all of the 50 states and Washington, D.C. have lobbied Congress and have urged them not to take any action which would force insurers to cover losses, business interruption losses due to COVID-19, where these claims would generally be excluded. Further, any legislation that would purport to expand coverage for the pandemic would likely be challenged as unconstitutional under the Contracts Clause of Article 1 of the Constitution, which generally prohibits states from enacting legislation that impairs contractual obligations, states or the government. Other states that have proposed similar bills to New Jersey are New York, Ohio, Louisiana, Massachusetts, South Carolina, and Pennsylvania. And the legislation hasn't been passed in any state. The reason being the same thing as in New Jersey. The legislators are meeting with resistance from insurers that have argued that forcing them to cover these types of claims could result in insolvency, among other things, which would be terrible for the industry.
So it sounds like it's going to be hard to get any of these laws passed on a federal level or state level. But last question before we let you out of here. What do you think the effect would be if any of these laws were passed?
It will be, you're right, very difficult to get this law passed anywhere, especially considering that a lot of these insurers would become insolvent. So it would probably take something from the federal or state governments to kick in towards these insurance settlements if any of these bills were passed. But again, it doesn't look like they'll be passed so quickly. Insurance policies are contracts, and they're interpreted accordingly. So if the law is passed, it'll change the agreement made between the parties, which always sets a bad precedent, and we really don't want to see that happen. And again, we want to make sure that the insurers don't have any future financial problems as a result of this. So I don't think in any manner the way that the bills are currently presented will they pass. There will need to be a lot of work done before we see any of these bills passed in the future.
That sounds like there's a lot going on regarding business interruption. Feel free to keep us updated, and we'll keep our viewers updated on business interruption. And drop us a comment on a social media platform, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks so much, guys.